Debugging Roblox Lua, understanding nil values. Have you ever run into a frustrating error while scripting in Roblox, only to discover it was due to a nil value? Let's break down what nil values are and how they can affect your scripts. In Roblox Lua scripting, a nil value indicates the absence of a value or an undefined variable. When your script tries to use something that hasn't been assigned yet, you will likely encounter a nil value error. This can be a common hurdle for both beginners and experienced developers. So what exactly is nil in Lua? Nil is a special value that means no value or nothing. If you create a variable but do not give it a value, it will be nil by default. If you try to access or call a nil value, it can lead to runtime errors. One of the most common errors you might see is attempt to call a nil value. This occurs when your script attempts to call a function or access a variable that is nil. For example, if you call a function that has not been defined or try to use a module that was not properly required, you will run into this issue. Nil errors can arise for several reasons. You may have misspelled a variable or function name, or a required module or asset might be missing. Sometimes, you might be calling something that is not a function, or you could be facing scope issues where a variable declared in one part of your script is not accessible where you are trying to use it. To identify nil value issues, you can use print statements to output variable values at different points in your script. This will help you see if they are nil. Additionally, the Roblox Studio debugger allows you to step through your code line by line and inspect variable states. The output panel is also a handy tool, as it provides error messages that often include line numbers or hints about where the nil value is being accessed. To avoid nil errors in your scripts, always initialize your variables before use. You can also use conditional checks to confirm that variables are not nil before calling them. For instance, you can write a simple check like this. If my function then, my function, else, print function is nil. And using assertions is another way to enforce expectations about variables. For example, is equal to nil, my variable should not be nil. Keeping your code organized and using local variables can help avoid confusion with variable scope. When debugging in Roblox Lua, remember that setting a table key to nil removes it from the table, which can affect loops or lookups. If you are working with events and remote functions, ensure that the event or function exists and is correctly referenced. If you encounter the attempt to call nil value error, but the variable does not appear to be nil, check if the variable is actually a function or if it was overridden. If you get the error message, attempt to call nil value, here are some steps to fix it. First, verify that the function or variable name is spelled correctly. Next, confirm that the function is defined before you call it. You can also use print statements before the call to check if the function is nil. Lastly, make sure the module or script that defines the function is properly required or loaded. Understanding nil values and how to debug them is essential for writing stable Roblox scripts. By systematically checking your variables, using print statements, and employing the Roblox debugger, you can quickly locate and fix nil-related errors. This will improve your game's reliability and enhance the player experience.